I realized that is just not going to work for me. Like, not being opinionated is not going to work for me. And hi, kitty cats. So today we're going to do the e.l.f. hydrating water sheet mask. Emily Noel did this. She has a few numbers after her name. I can't think of it. But I'll link her down below. She did this on one of her videos, and she seemed to like it. And I had already bought it, actually, but it hadn't gotten here yet. So we're going to use it this Monday. And as you can see, it got a little cut in it because when I cut open the package, it was right there and it got cut a little bit, but I put a little tape over it and it sealed it right back up, so it's not a problem. And I'm also going to kind of have a bit of a serious conversation today. I feel like, I don't often talk about certain subjects because I feel like I'm very opinionated about certain things, and I don't want anybody to feel like, like I'm some horrible person because I have a different opinion of theirs, or that they can't watch my videos because of my opinions, or certain parts about me. But you know what? The fact is, I realize that is just not going to work for me. Like, not being opinionated is not going to work for me. And most of the time I'm not a very judgmental person. So I want you to know, if you are different in opinions with me, even though I don't agree with you, I'm going to do my best not to judge you. Most likely I won't at all. On certain subjects, though, I do have, like, everybody has that line, to draw where something is just so important to them that they can't, they just, like, certain things are just so important to you and you're so passionate about that you just can't be okay with a different opinion on it. It doesn't make you a bad person to be that way. Everybody has something. I think it's important to try to understand other people's opinions, but there are some things that are just like, seriously? We all have that thing. But that's not even what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about something that has been on my mind, and I have a personal Facebook page, and then I have my public one for, let me put this on. Woo! This one's real cold. Real cold. Some of them are colder than others. And this one is super cold. I don't know why certain ones are just like so cold and then others are not. And, these things don't ever fit right. And I noticed I was watching somebody else, I think Dani from with Coffee or whatever her name is. You know who I'm talking about, right? I'll put that down below too so that I'm not like... She just was showing how she did her sheet masks, and she will rip them to make them fit and stuff. Like, she'll just tear them a little bit so that they're perfectly smooth on the face. And I don't know if I'm really comfortable doing that, but I don't know. This is how it's going to go on today. So, stuff gets everywhere. Just, there's a lot of juice in this one too. Like, some of them are like, really not as, they're kind of dryish compared to others. I mean, they're all very hydrating and have serum in them, but some of them are like really juicy. Like, they must have poured like a gallon of serum in there or something. Like, it's just like, whoa. So anyways, I have a personal Facebook, and I want to tell you that if you find me on my personal Facebook and you try to add me as a friend and I don't add you, please don't take that personally. The people that are on that Facebook are either people I've known on the internet for a certain amount of years, or they're people I actually know, like, have known in my life, face to face and stuff. So please don't take that personally if I don't add you. If, you know, I'm perfectly fine with people, you know, liking my Bad Kitty Beauty page on Facebook. It's just that my personal Facebook, I want to keep with just my friends, because I talk a lot on there about every little thing. And I know you're like, well, we see your Snapchat and stuff too. But there's always things that we just don't, like, want everybody to know about. You know, I have a kid. She has things that she wants to be private. And so it's really important for me to keep those things private. But the other day I wrote something on my Facebook, and I'm going to read it to you, because I was just thinking about my daughter and my own life, and how I've realized over the years, like, how much crap I put up with when I was younger, because I just didn't know any better. Because my mother didn't, like, tell me, you know, how to deal with these things. So anyways, I'm just gonna read this for you. Waffle's in the window, and he's just like, what are you doing in there? Why am I not with you? You know, the usual cat things. So anyways, this is what I wrote. When I was young, I'm talking about 18 years old, I was out on my own and had an apartment and a roommate, etc. I used to go to the deli at the grocery store, and one of the guys used to flirt with me a bit. And I really didn't mind, because it never crossed any lines that were uncomfortable for me. Like, I was very flirtatious when I was younger. He never said anything gross. It was mostly smiling and him giving me a little extra cheese or turkey. Yes, that happened. Like, he would just slip me a few extra slices in the package. That's all. This was fine with me, and maybe it should not have been, but at that time I honestly used my large breasts, because I've always been a big-chested girl, to get things I wanted, which was not the best thing to do. I always wore low-cut tops, and I still do to this day, but for different reasons. Honestly, I wear a lot of low-cut things because stuff that gets close to my neck really bothers me. I don't know why, but it makes me feel like I'm being choked or suffocated. So I do wear a lot of low-cut things. Anyways, the point is, one day, the flirtation took a turn that made me switch grocery stores. I had a lot of hair at that time. So much hair. Like, way down my back, long-ass hair. And I had dyed every inch of it fire engine red with Manic Panic. That was like everybody I knew liked Manic Panic back then, and that's what we used to dye our hair with. I loved that hair. I still love it to this day. If I could get my hair back at that time, how much thicker it was, and it was really wavy and just that color, it was just amazing hair. I loved that hair. So I went to the deli, and this man decided to say something inappropriate, which I'm sure he thought was okay, because I had a low-cut top, and I always flirted a little. And he had given me extra cheese. I am sure he thought that made it okay somehow. He asked if my curtains matched the drapes, which later somebody mentioned to me. They're like, that's not how the saying goes. So, anyways. but you know what he meant. When I just stared at him, horrified, he seemed to take this as me not understanding. He then said, "Did you dye it down there? You know, between your legs." It was so messed up. I froze. I completely froze. I should have spoken with a manager. I should have told him to fuck off. I should have done a lot of things, but I had no one in my life that would tell me how wrong it was and how it was not my fault. And up to that time in my life, I've been mostly surrounded by jerk boyfriends who would have said I should not have worn that top. Or what do you expect with hair like that? So yeah, I just never went back there. I have told my daughter that when men say nasty things to you, do not put up with it. But I also have tried to teach her to be careful and make sure you are not alone when you do these things. Why? I do not want my daughter being physically hurt by some twat-headed ass jerk. Yes, that's what I said. Sorry for the language in this video. That thinks that when a woman speaks up, he should hit her, or worse, rape her. So yeah, make sure to be careful. I hate that I tell her that. I hate that I worry about her walking alone when it is dark, or when her friends walk alone in the dark. My daughter is almost 18, and she is not an object. Sadly, some men will perceive her this way. She is not just her body. Sadly, some people will perceive her this way. She does not owe any person anything. I put man here, but I wanted to mention person. She really does, Sadly, there are those that will think she does. I worry not just because I am her parent, but because I know what the world is like for a female. Now, I have a lot of comments from different people I know, which I'm not going to read their comments because that's their own personal views and feelings and things that happen to them. I've had other incidents happen, but that was one of the times in my life where I really didn't know what to do, and I felt uncomfortable and unsafe. And I just stopped going there. I just stopped. I was so horrified. And now that I'm older, it's just like, I wish I'd known. I wish that somebody had told me that you don't have to put up with that. You don't have to let somebody talk that way. And you don't have to stop going to that grocery store and avoiding him. You can tell him, don't talk to me like that. And if he gets upset because of the flirtation, too bad. You're allowed to flirt. That doesn't mean that someone can talk to you in that manner. There's a huge difference between like a little flirtation and saying something just so like crossing that line. I'm really crossing that line. I never said anything gross to him. I never said anything about his private parts or anything about his body. Like, the flirtation was really just smiling and giggling at stupid jokes, but not like gross jokes. There was nothing that went on in those conversations that said, yeah, let's talk about my private parts. Let's talk about my vagina or the hair around it. Like, it was just really, really off-putting. And it was not okay. And I would never, like today, these days, somebody talked to me like that, I would give them, a lot of words. Or I would just be like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. And I've still had things happen as throughout the years where sometimes I've just like let it go. But the difference was I knew that I could say something and it would be okay for me to tell them to, Sometimes, though, I just don't want the conflict, so I just walk away. But I will never leave an establishment because of what somebody said to me. And I will never, allow them to keep talking to me. or bothering me. I just won't. Because I do worry about my daughter, and I worry about her friends. I mean, they're all becoming adults. They're like, some of them have already turned 18, so they've already become legal adults, and my daughter will be very soon, in a matter of months. And it's super, super scary for me. And not because of the whole, like, oh, my daughter is leaving, the nest or anything like that, which she isn't even going to do. She's going to be here for a few years. But it's nothing like that. It's more of a, oh my goodness, how are you going to handle certain things? Like, are you ready for what? Did I do enough? Did I do enough to prepare you? Especially, I mean, yes, I worry about a boy too, but she's my daughter, and I don't know, there's something between mother and daughters that's just, we're both females, and I just know what it's like. I know what it's like.
The camera turned off. The battery for some reason died, even though I had been charging it for a long time. I don't know what happened. It seems to be fine. I recharged the battery. It seems to be fine now. And so this was incredibly hydrating, by the way. Very, very hydrating, and it smells really nice. I would definitely, there's no parabens, no sulfates, no flatulates. I don't even know what those are. But this is really inexpensive too. It's like $3. So maybe $3.50. But I think it's only $3. I mean, you can't really beat that. So, I mean, if you want just a nice, really hydrating mask, this works. So it felt good. I mean, it's really cold when you first put it on, but then it felt really fine. And, I was conversing with you guys. Well, conversing with the camera. But you know what I mean. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you guys. So, and gals, and everybody. I'm talking to all of you. And what I was saying before, I think my point is that as a female, you don't know anything. You are not an object. And you don't have to put up with being treated like one. You're a human being, and you have value. And you are beautiful. And just keep remembering that, okay? So, I mean, if this helps even just one person realize that they don't have to be treated like that, it does me good to know that. Because you don't have to be at all. So, I'm very emotional about this. Be kind. And love yourself. And, bye-bye, kitty cats.